Alright, welcome back. Devo Does Stuff. Here is my rebuild kit for the 2008 Kawasaki Teryx. Got new rods, connecting rods, all new valves, new rings, spark plugs, fuel or oil filter. Here's an engine oil seal kit. Here's a rebuild kit for what I think is the water pump. New timing chains, new oil pump drive chain, new main bearing, new oil pump. Then here's the part on the transmission that exploded. And I went ahead and got new needle bearings. Here's the reverse needle bearing. Here's the two-piece bearing that I went ahead and ordered it, even though it showed it as one piece and it came in as two-piece. So that's what came out. That's what you remember. I dug part of that out of the engine and the snap ring that was all bent up. So I also have the new crankshaft. That'll be going. I got new pistons and cylinders, which I'm going to wait and put those in once I get the engine back in the Teryx, because with those things on there, it's just too big and too heavy. I took those off before I took this engine out, and a year and a half ago I could have manhandled that, but about a year and a half ago I blew my shoulder out, so I'll have to get my wife to help me put this back in once I get done. But I still have to clean this up. I want to take my air and blow through these where I can. I can't get to this one, but I can this one. And from the back side, I just want to blow into them and make sure that they're open. Let's see, that one's right there. Make sure that I can get oil through those oil lines. And then a lot of cleaning up yet to do too, so I'm ready to get started. Clean that up, get the new seal in, put that bearing in the freezer. So I'll lube that up. I'm going to lube that bearing up. Put that seal in. Just using assembly lube on this. I already got that. There's a roller bearing down in here I've already got. Well, there it goes. Okay, that one went in good. Now I'll have to look up the torque specs on that and torque those down. There it went. Those are pretty similar, so I think this is going to be the one. So I'm going to clean that up, get this installed. Look at that. There it went. Right in place. I used this little heat gun to heat that up a little bit. It's not hot by any means, but it's warmed up. These go in. And then these screws get Loctited. And I'll have to double check the torque value on those. really cold. Okay, let's see. Yeah, that's not going. Okay. All right. Yeah, that's the only two right there. Where the shift shaft comes up through. That seal doesn't look bad, but I got a new one in the kit, so I'm going to attempt to get it out. It's pretty small. Yeah, I thought that might. This aluminum housing on here is kind of, I got to be careful not to clamp it too tight. Look at that. Got it. All right. get me a, try this rubber. Here is that half bearing. The one that came in has like a copper finish on it, and that delayed me right there because in the parts diagram it showed that as a single bearing, and I didn't want to order it knowing that I couldn't get it on there as a single bearing. But when I finally just gave up and ordered it because I couldn't get anybody on the phone to answer my questions. So it came in as the two-piece. So these are new. And so I will take all this and wipe it down one more time. And then I'll put it all back together with assembly lube. And we're getting, one of these rollers was out. When I opened the package, they just snap back in. You got to push them in from the inside. All right, there's that. There we go. Here's the high-low washer that replaces this, and that was blew apart. Let's double check my thing here. It shows there's a spacer. Okay, it's in there. Let me get down there where y'all can see it. Right there's a spacer. Kind of tricky to get in there. Yeah. There it goes. All right, then that. Put a little assembly lube on that spacer. And this, it's got a shoulder on one side and flat on the other. And the shoulder is looking up. And it fell down in there. There's spacer. There's the tooth washer. And the circlip. I don't care for these circlips that don't have a enclosed circle, but that's what came. Let's see, let me put that back in. And I just want to make sure that's seated in that groove, and it is. Anyway, it's seated in there. Right in there. To make sure I'm not missing anything. So next is what they call the shifter. Put a little more assembly lube on that shaft. That thing was, it's kind of hard to get started in there yesterday for some reason. I took my Dremel and cleaned it out a little bit. It was a little roughed up. There we go. Now you got to turn this. It falls down in there. That's good. Now here we've got a spacer. And that's my new Alright, I got it figured out. I had this in upside down. So this, let me get this up. Oh, I can't get it up now because the daggone. I can't get it up now because of the circlip. Can I get it under that without taking it? No. So let's take this back out. Turn this circlip around where I can. Need to take it all the way out. Just need to lift this up enough to get this in here. There it went. There it goes. Yeah. I know I could get it because I just had it together yesterday and just test fitting it, you know. Now we're talking. And yeah. Shifter. There it goes. And then, all right. Now, we're all back. And ready. See, I think I was turning that. I think I'm not sure which way this is going to be turning. I think this way, and then when you put it in reverse, it turns the other way. Come on. There it went. All right. I'm just going to shoot a little bit of assembly lube here. There we go. All right. Transmission is back in. and ready for the next step, which will be, I'm going to have to move my blocks because I want this turned around here for the other side to join up. I'll get me some carb cleaner and go over these mating surfaces one last time, and then ultra gray gasket maker high torque. I'll be using that to put it together. This doesn't have a gasket. This is where the black RTV was when I took it apart, that I had such a hard time getting it out of everything. I don't know if this has been rebuilt before or if it came from the factory like that, but whoever put it together used too much RTV. I'll have to put my rod bearings or rods on, because once I get this together, I won't be able to get my torque wrench in there to torque those. So let me do some cleaning and prepping, and we'll be back. Got this cleaned up with brake cleaner, carbon choke cleaner, and on a paper towel, and I cleaned it all off, and I'm surprised I got my paper towel dirty because I've already cleaned this a couple times. But then I blew it off, and I noticed after I blew it off, look at all this black silicone stuck to the wall behind my workbench. That, I don't know if it didn't just happen, but that's from this job, because I don't have anything else with black silicone on it. So that's what that's from, is just cleaning this case. So now I will clean all this. This is all good down in here. Down in here where the screen goes was really nasty. And the screen, it had a lot of metal in it that was hard to get out, but I did get it all out. So the screen goes back in. And I'm going to wipe it down one more time. And I've got a bearing here on my bench that I'm not sure where it came from. So I'll look in the other half of this case. This case has got, it's kind of complicated because it's a two-cylinder. So, but as far as I know, this is ready. I've got to put my rods on, like I said, because those have got to be torqued. And then I'll put some tape on this to keep it from tearing up the seal as it goes on. And I'll just look over everything real close and make sure it's all ready. And we'll come back. Going. Put those on there with, I think that's more than, they're supposed to torque to 25. I think that's more than 25. I think they got them on there tighter than they torque to in the machine. Daggone it. There ain't no call for that. See, that says out. What's that showing? Yeah. That says out. So each one has to be facing out. This one has an O on it. The other one has an S. So I'm thinking maybe this one goes on the end that has an S on it. My goodness. There ain't no call for those to be that tight. Oh, that's just what I need. Round off a brand new nut before I even get it on there. See, they got a little step on the corner there. And that goes in that little slot. So, I guess I'll just take it off. So that bearing goes in there. I got to take that back out. Man, that's tight in there. Maybe when I torque them, it'll seat them a little better. I don't know. Okay, this one, the hot rods goes in because the out goes out. So the hot rods are facing each other. See that one? Where's my mark? On the other side. Right there. So this goes, that still has to face out. So this goes like so. This one doesn't seem as bad as the other one. I forgot to oil them bolts too. Supposed to oil them bolts. I didn't. Alright, I can't find anything about it in the manual other than the torque specs and everything, and I still haven't torqued it, but here's what I came up with. The way I've got it right now, if I measure from the bottom of this cylinder opening to the center of the connecting rod, it's roughly 1 7/8 inches. Over here, if I measure from the bottom of that opening to the center of the connecting rod, it's roughly 1 7/8 inches. Now, if I change these, then this one, from the bottom of the hole to the center of the connecting rod, is 1 3/16 inches. And then this one is 2 5/8. So that's very lopsided. So this is what I consider centered in the cylinder. So that's the way they're going. And I still haven't torqued these, but I didn't want to torque them until I figured out which way they were supposed to go. And this is I think this is it. So if I'm wrong, I'll always think that I wasn't. So now I'll torque these to 25 foot-pounds, and we'll commence to putting the other case half back on. All that's left on this is, still I clean this up one last time. It looks good. I got to torque this to 14 foot-pounds, but the lowest got this new torque wrench. Lowest it goes is 14.8. So all right, that's good. I didn't have that. Never took that out, I guess. So I'll get this wiped down with brake cleaner one last time. This bearing that I had laying on my bench, it goes here. All right, here we are. I took my card out of my camera yesterday and went to download quite a bit of footage. Something happened, it crashed. I had like 15 files on the card, and I got into like number 5, renaming them, so I keep them all in order. And it crashed and said card needs formatted. And when it wouldn't let me open them up, wouldn't let me do anything until I formatted it. When I formatted it, it erased everything. So the engine is back together, the same as when I pulled it out of the machine. So I've still got the heads to do, which I got new valves and springs and all for that, seals. So I'm going to do that in the machine. I'll do the heads and all on the bench, but I'm going to go ahead and put this back in. That's going to be on my next video. This is, as far as I can remember, this is part 3 here. So part 4 will be putting the engine back in. This one's going to probably be a little long because it's from I don't remember where I ended my last video, if I even had the engine split open or not, but I think I did. Anyway, it's got new crank, seals, bearings, all that stuff in it. So new connecting rods. I put in new stuff in the transmission. The transmission was all jacked up. So the next video will be installing this, reworking the heads, putting the cylinders and everything on it, and then hopefully it'll be ready to fire up. When I hit that point, then all this gum right here is, a lot of this was done before I got it. So I'm going to have to figure out where all this stuff goes back. I did pull the fuel tank out that was right here. But other than that, most of this stuff was off. I did have to pull the belly pan off to get to that bottom engine mount, which, oh, that's it right there. Yeah, I couldn't get that bolt out that goes through that engine, so I had to pull the belly pan off. In doing that, I had 2 or 3 bolts that were stripped out, so I've got to try to get, I've got a nut cert tool. I'm going to either drill those out, put new ones in, or I may just put that nut cert tool in there and see if I can tighten them back up. So that's the next one. Thanks for watching. Devo Does Stuff.